Welcome to the Hunters Hub, a Monster Hunter community podcast for hunters by hunters. Welcome, hunters, to an exciting episode of the Hunters Hub, episode 15. Today we are once again joined by the guest that keeps on guesting, Paru.
I'm never, ever going away.
Just add, keep adding an every time it happens. That'd be great. And then Loborin.
Hello. Thank you.
So anyone tuning in, previous episode, it was just me and Eric's, and I'm sure Eric's is busy having fun playing the game. Just for point of reference, we are on January 30th. So the game has been out for a little while. We've all got to play it here, and this episode is mostly going to be initial impressions. But that being said, if you have not reached, we'll say, the end of the Coral Highlands, to be vague, this is going to be spoilers up to that point, most likely. We may mention some things outside of that too. So if you are really worried about spoilers, I'm sorry. We'll just pause it, get past that point, and come back and listen when you can. And then from there, we're going to get into the boring stuff. We have a Patreon up. It's just patreon.com/HuntersHub. And we'd love it to see comments and all sorts of stuff. So give us some feedback. Anyways, all that boring stuff aside again, Monster Hunter World is out. Amazing, huh?
Ta-da!
It felt pretty unreal that we finally got to launch.
Yeah. I had initially been able to pick it up the Thursday night, but then my wife's hours got switched, so I had to wait till probably about 3 o'clock Friday to play. But that being said, I have clocked in 35 hours since then. So
Oh wow!
That's not impressive to some of the numbers I've seen on the subreddit. Which one guy said he played 102 hours as of this morning.
Oh no, that's too much. It's like not sleeping and eating too much.
Yeah, he basically said he took power naps between quests. I was like, how do you...
I mean, I played like all weekend and quite a bit on Monday and a bit today, but I couldn't do like that crazy marathon.
Well, I've been able to play so much because work situation with me, I've not had any obligations to go to, so it's mostly just watching the kids and playing, and I've been able to play a bit with the kids, so I've clocked a ton more hours than I thought I would. But yeah, so two initial impressions. Loborin, you mentioned that really quickly, just talk about, we had intended on using weapon A, and are we using still weapon A? And or if we switched or whatever. And just to answer that question really quick, I said I would be using the longsword, and I have used nothing but longsword.
Yes. So join us.
I've so far avoided the longsword temptation, and I was just avoiding it because that was one of my old best weapons. And unfortunately, the same can't be said of switch axe. I was like, I'm not gonna play switch axe. I'm gonna be a good boy and try other weapons. And no, I'm playing switch axe. I was trying to get into hunting horn, and I couldn't again. They've changed a lot. It's just not my playstyle. Like, every single time I'm like, yeah, this is going to be great and fun, and I just do it, I'm like, I could be doing something else. So it's not a bad weapon in the slightest. I just can't make myself enjoy doing it. So both those goals failed. But otherwise, been gunning a lot. I actually use bow. and I might pick that up as a full-time thing because Bow's pretty fun.
Nice. And Haru, you're like me, just longsword all the way?
A bit of both, actually. I've been mostly longsword, always main longsword, and then I've been playing the switch axe more than I did in the beta, more than I expected to. Still not totally comfortable with like the whole overcharge mechanic and like the zero sum discharge.
It's just so exciting when you get to pull it off.
Yeah, it looks cool. It looks cool from outside perspective too. Like watching people do it, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, the thing that's just kept me going with the Switch axe real quickly is I did not realize from the beta that they were going to make it rainbow colored vials. That it was just gonna be like red and fire the whole time, but you can get like blue fire, like green fire. It's awesome looking.
Oh yeah, one of the ones I was using for a while had just this bright blue, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool."
Yeah, I hadn't seen any of them. I've just done the longsword. It's cool.
But yeah, I'm glad you're still sticking with your commitment since I failed mine.
Yeah, I mean, I think I chose something different because I wanted to do something different. I mean, For You came out when 2015, so I played, or maybe 14.
Yeah, it's 15 over here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think in terms of my kids' lives. Yeah, it was 2015. So, yeah, so the whole 2015, 2016 that I was playing Monster Hunter was all Charge Blade. So, I mean, aside from this short stint of me starting out in Sword and Shield. So, I don't know, I felt like I was ready for a change, despite me playing Hammer for almost 10 years. I mean, yeah, I played Hammer for a good 6 years, maybe. So, I don't know why I felt like I needed to switch after 2, but I did.
I do have slightly Hammer relevant news, which unfortunately I can't tell GOG, but Craig shots, or as they're called now, sticky shots, at least from what I've seen, don't knock players away from the head. I have been shooting Craig shots at everything I can, and not seeing players go flying and having Hammer people get mad at me makes me so happy, because now I can contribute that without worrying about pissing somebody off.
That's strange. Because of course sticky shots are like a huge explosion, but I've been getting knocked away out of the long swords like spirit thrust, helm splitter combo, like right and left by the slicing shots, and so it's strange that those would have such a big trip on them, but the big explosive one wouldn't.
That's weird.
That's something I am planning on talking about maybe in the next episode or something like that. Is there's a lot of changes to bowguns, and me being primary bowgun, I am excited to talk about them. But I think that's going to be safe for another episode.
Yeah, we can do that. Well, the biggest thing that I wanted to get into kind of all ties into multiplayer.
Right.
So there's... so just for reference, I'm in a clan called the Misfits, and it's whatever my friend called them. And he, myself, and there's 10 of us. And this is, now keep in mind, this is all from like my high school days, like OG crew. There was a lot more hunters back in those days than I remember. Because I only played with 2 other guys all the time, I mentioned. And those were my 2 best friends in high school. And I do remember, the other guys playing here and there. But since then, a lot of my other friends from high school have gotten into it. So I've been playing with people from my high school that I'm, over 10 years removed from. And it's been hilarious. It's been awesome. But the crazy thing is, I love the clans, by the way, that really alleviates a lot of the issues that I'm going to get into here, is the story actually gets in the way of playing together in a very annoying way.
Yes.
And I would say it is my only real gripe with the game. It is weird. Haru, Loborin, have you guys like tried to play with other people constantly, or just doing SOS players, or how are you guys doing your multiplayer, or at all?
I've tested it a little bit, we haven't gotten to mess with the clans yet because the people I was going to make clans with, we all suck at communication, so we haven't done that yet. And as for the actual multiplayer aspect, I have been loving it quite a bit. Answering SOS calls is fun.
Yeah.
I did find what made it a little bit easier to join groups and get in hunts is to instead go into when you first start the game, go to just join session and automatically have it matchmake you, and it'll usually just jam you into a room full of already 10 or 12 people. Sorry, Xbox One people, maybe not yet, but soon. And
they found a workaround, thankfully.
You said they fixed it?
No, they found a workaround.
Oh, okay, good.
And by the time this podcast comes out, we don't know how the situation will be on Xbox, so just disclaimer.
That's true.
Yeah, at this point, they might not be able to do this. But anyway, click on just join session and get auto-matched in. Mm-hmm. And it worked out pretty well, because you get quite a bit of people in the room with you, from my experience. Mm-hmm. And then you can still join quests. If you do SOS, it'll still pull from people outside your session as well.
True, yes.
And then instead of, because people aren't really using chat yet, which is kind of unfortunate, and I haven't heard anybody have voice chat yet. Mm-hmm. So what I suggest is, whenever you do that, whenever you join a session, just go and start your quest by yourself, unless somebody immediately starts accept it, wait 30 seconds, and then just enter the match and throw an SOS flare the second you can, because it ends up getting a group together really quickly. If you're like me and just love pugging and stuff like that and going with random people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's my biggest suggestion, is just join session at the very beginning and let it matchmake you into a group, because it usually tries to put you with people your HR.
Okay.
Right. There's a setting for similar rank if you want, like Loborin was saying. So I'll just go through a few different thoughts very quickly. I'm kind of at a unique perspective on this, I think, because I'm not usually a multiplayer player. When I played Try, which was my first Monster Hunter, I never connected the Wii to a network, because I was still getting into the whole internet thing at that point, and I played that game all single player, and that's sort of my quintessential Monster Hunter reference. So this was almost a throwback to that, because obviously in 4U you have the all the online multiplayer on 3DS, and it's very pick up and play, and you could search out rooms for specific monsters you wanted to hunt down.
Right.
And I think this is just a different experience to that, because World's a lot. I'd say it's easier in single player, which is a benefit in a lot of ways, because with all the new environmental stuff and just the balancing of it, I think you can solo monsters a lot easier, even endgame stuff, than you could before, and it feels less like you're being hounded and you're just barely hanging on. You can't get any combos going or anything.
Right.
But yeah, the online part of it, I've only tried matchmaking once, so I can't really speak to that, but I tried to get into online rooms and hunt a couple times, several times, and I kind of gave up each day that I tried, because people don't know how to use them at all, and no one knows how to find each other, their character models. People don't know how to use hunter hubs, basically.
Yeah, it's complicated.
And just quickly, I know I go on for a bit. SOS flares, I've really enjoyed those though, because that's sort of a similar experience to the pick up and play of 4. It's you do get a little bit less of that running through an environment with your teammates, leaping over hurdles in unison, because you're starting from different base camps and different times into the hunt. But yeah, SOS flares are very quick and snappy usually, even if you fail.
I kind of miss everybody leaving the base camp at the same time. But
yeah,
also it does fit the idea of an SOS flare. Everybody just kind of dropping what they're doing and running in from all directions to help you out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's fun. I popped an SOS flare earlier.
Of the idea.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just saying it fits the story of the idea.
Oh, yeah. I popped one earlier, and I was fighting Lagiana, and I kind of forgot I'd popped one because nobody responded within like the first 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then I must have missed the prompt that somebody joined. I just know at some point I was fighting it, and then it did the double roar and got up and flew away. And as it flew away, there was a person with a hammer standing there. I was like, "Oh, hey, buddy, what's up?" I didn't expect to see you here.
Well, this is awkward.
But it was kind of cool, just that meeting of just another hunter suddenly showing up, and you're like, "Oh, hi."
Yeah.
You want to keep going? Cool.
Yeah, because that's sort of like this is reading too much into it, obviously, but in an immersive sense, if you were just a hunter out in the environments, that would be how you would encounter other people.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of cool. You definitely feel that the community aspect of the town really feels like it's the players are part of the community, and you're not just like all that one true hero like you were before. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are the hunter in the previous ones, where this one, it actually feels like there's a bunch of viable, really good hunters, and that the other players could be any one of those fivers, as they call them. So yeah, it's kind of cool. For me, my multiplayer experience is extensive. I don't think that I have played any part of the game entirely solo. And in some aspect, I was always online with other people, not necessarily them in my quest. I think probably 95% of the time I've been in PS4 party chat with friends while playing, at least. So that's been a thing. I have played every kind of multiplayer, everything from playing with friends and joining sessions to SOS flares with randoms, responding to SOS flares, all that kind of stuff. So the issue that I kind of hinted at is that people cannot join you at the beginning of a quest if you have not seen the cutscenes yet. And while that sounds cool, that means if you are playing with a buddy, you both have to go into your quest solo, and someone has to drop out and join the other.
Yes.
Which feels really counterintuitive. So we actually have a friend who, believe it or not, was able to play more than I. This friend, I think, is very close to finishing the story. In fact, he's helping us so that he can, we can get caught up to help him finish. So he's basically just grinding for gear with us. This guy has been now helping us all the time, and what would happen is we would have 2 or 3 people start a story quest, and he would go in and help one, and then when those 2 were done, because they would inevitably get done faster, they would then, once they were finished, jump into my quest, and then go from there. And I think it's important to note that you can't be joinable until there's a little message that pops up across the screen. It says SOS Flare available, or you can use your SOS Flare or something like that. It's some sort of message saying that you can use the SOS Flare.
Right.
Once that is done, you are actually joinable by anyone in the room. Your quest is on the quest board, and people can jump in without a flare on your session.
Oh, really? They can jump in without
Yes.
you flaring? I didn't know that.
Yes. So if you are playing, so that's what kind of brings in this all important compass of clans, that they really undersell the importance of a clan. So a clan is a bunch of people that you play together with, right? And you basically, when you start up, you say search up for the clan ID or whatever, right? So the various clans that you're part of. Which really quick. We are going to be doing a nightly hunt with the Hunters Hub. I have made a Hunters Hub clan.
Nice.
So far, I'm the only one in it, but we are going to be doing a weekly hunt sometime We haven't scheduled what days yet. I'll keep people up to date on Twitter if they're interested. Or they can search me out, whatever. But we're basically, you go in, you find a clan, you click on it, and if there are players in your clan in sessions, it will auto-join to your clan members. You are all in the same session if everyone does that, right? Or it'll join, if there's multiple sessions, it'll join one of them. So that way, with my little Band of Misfits clan that I'm part of with my high school bunch, that it's like, I think 10 of us now, or 8 or something like that. There's always like a session open, pretty much. And someone goes in, you pop in, and there's like 8 of us in there, and we're like 2 sets of people doing quests and helping each other out and that kind of stuff. So it's really easy to just join other people that way. And then when you're in there, and typically we're in party chat and we're like, hey, the cutscene's available, you can join now. Or they'll be like, hey, I see you're doing this, do you need help? I'm like, now I got it, or whatever. So I've done some quests entirely solo. I've done some with full help, story, non-story, or whatever. So they're like, that aspect kind of fixes that whole cutscene blocking issue, in my opinion.
I had a question for you. So when you say people can't join until they've watched all the cutscenes, if there's
in that mission,
right?
Yeah.
If there's a cutscene like at the end of a hunt, but like you've gotten
that doesn't count.
Okay, sounds good.
So there's a cutscene for completion. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like with like with Baroth or
I
whoever.
can give an example. One thing to note, though, it will bump you out of a party. Because I was in a party with a guy and finished the Lagiana one. And we had both voted to continue, except that it played the Lagiana cutscene, and when it was done, I was back in the overworld and there was no party or anything like that. We were just back in our
because the story brought you there. That sucks. That really does suck.
But I mean, it was a rando, so unfortunately I couldn't re-meet up with him. But it's the fact that at least if you're in a party like you've been doing with the voice chat, it should be pretty easy to connect back up.
Yeah, and we've been coordinating pretty well. I haven't done a lot of farming for stuff. I'm just now getting into that. Been building up some Juritatis. I'm in plus level quests. Building up some Juritatis stuff so I could farm Tobi Kadachi, so that I can farm something else. Something else being spoiler area that I won't get into. But basically, I've started that loop of like three weaknesses deep, building weapons to defeat something because it's hard enough. I need that elemental advantage.
Right.
So yeah, the grind is already on, and it's still pretty fun. One of the things that I've started doing, so I looked over the trophies. One thing I like to do with a game that I really like and enjoy is I try to platinum that game, or 100% for Xbox players, 100% of the achievements. But one of the ones I'm finding the most annoying is guild cards. It's not really common for people to send their guild cards.
Right.
You need to collect 50 of them.
It happened in a random session earlier with me, where like one person shared it, and then like suddenly everybody starts sending them to everybody. So
so that's what I've been doing SOS flares for, is to get guild cards, and I'm not even lying. I will just start joining SOS missions, just to get, I'm trying to farm also, but most of the time I pop in, I immediately, as soon as I join the quest, hit the options button, go to the guild card list, check everybody that's in that quest, send, and then it's about a 50-50 shot whether I get them back or not. But that's been fun. The SOS stuff is pretty cool. If you feel like just helping people out, it's a good way. Just join a SOS quest. You can just search. You can even search on the monster if you want. You're like, hey, people are going after this. Let me find it.
Yeah, I have had frustration with that because I've been farming Legiana for like maybe half of my playtime. Because you like search SOS and like low rank, high rank, and sometimes it'll say no SOS flares found for a specific monster, and I feel like that's bullshit.
I do think they're probably server dividing it a little bit.
Yeah, because there's so many people
Which
playing. There's no one hunting like one of the like
it
20
it does make
monsters that
sense though.
you encounter in the early game.
It does make sense though, because imagine opening up the board and seeing like 60 pages of results.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but I just wish they would give us a few, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
I think.
Sorry, I was just saying, on that point of so many people playing, 5 million copies sold in 3 days. Holy cow.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think Capcom knows that people outside Japan like their product now.
And just to clarify a little bit, it's just shipped to stores. Like we don't know how many people have bought actual copies, but it seems there's a demand there.
It's the most
That
bought
figure
game
also includes the digital sales, though, which the digital sales are direct numbers, so partially direct.
Okay. Oh, that
also is currently, I think, the most sold game in NA, Japan, and EU. I could be wrong about NA, but I know at least EU.
Yeah, in that short of time, yeah.
But I think is great too because it released the same day as Dragon Ball Fighter Z, which I expected there would be a clash of like people between those two games.
On a small scale, yes, but the thing is, the fighting game community is much smaller. They're vocal for sure, but fighting games don't normally post big numbers.
Yeah, I think the like single player sort of open world crowd got in on Monster Hunter this time.
Yeah, and a lot of the buzz is saying Destiny 2 players hop ship into Monster Hunter 2.
That's just strange bedfellows there.
Well, I mean, it's seen as a similar kind of game, that sort of loot grind with your friends game.
I know, it's just like so far in my mind. It's so far away from like sci-fi shooting. Like Halo.
Yeah, I played a lot. I won't say a lot. I played a heavy amount of Destiny for a month, and then a heavy amount of Destiny 2 for a month. Like got into endgame, was doing raids and everything within a month, and then dropped it because I got bored.
So very briefly, just Monster Hunter World is sort of positioned as like a quasi MMO. Like it has more of a, let's just say it has a games as a service leaning. Like they're hinting at some sort of things with the spring update with Deviljho in it, and maybe that there's more in that. Who knows?
Yeah, I really want to see. So I was thinking about this. I posed the question, how empty do those maps feel with some of the same monsters? And I kind of feel like there's a ton of variation in the Ancient Forest, and there's a little bit of variation in the Wildspire Wastes. And the other ones, I don't feel like there's a lot of variation so far. So I kind of feel like we do need to see some more monsters to sort of keep it going.
I do kind of agree.
Well, I just wanted to like ask that in reference to the 5 million sold to stores comment, because what do you think that means for the DLC plans? Do you think they're going to ramp up? Do you think they've always planned to do like a substantial DLC thing and then maybe an expansion? What do you guys think?
I think that they're going to continue as planned for now. I think that they felt that this was going to be, it's like, so, sometimes you do something and you're like, this was good. I can tell this is good.
Right.
For instance, in my writing that I do of the ecologies, one of the few ecologies that I wrote it, and I was like, people are actually, most of the time I'm like, hey, I hope you guys like it, and here you go. When I post it on the message board that I do, another subreddit, there was one that I posted with the ecology of the Hydra that I was like, no, I got this. Like, this is going to be good. This is my best one yet, right? I think that's what they're doing, feel with Monster Hunter, because you can tell that, like, no, we know what we're doing. We're putting our foot forward. We're putting it out on, I think this was a big confidence booster for them beforehand, right? And I think that they have already made plans for it to be successful. I just think it's more successful than they expected.
Okay. Well, yeah, we actually, it's literally way more successful than they expected by Because their sales projections were, and everyone knew they were pretty modest, but they were just 1.5 million. So it's it's doubled and then nearly doubled that again.
I think
Yes.
I think what also helped is what's what I'm looking for. They did an excellent advertising campaign for this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I saw Monster Hunter everywhere. I actually saw it Saturday. I took a break from Monster Hunter, it's a quick sanity break, so I could go to Dave & Buster's, and they had UFC on. It was some big fight, and advertisements during UFC are super expensive. And a Monster Hunter commercial came on in the middle of UFC, and it's like, whoa, okay, they're actually shelling out pretty big money to advertise this thing.
Well, I mean, yeah, they've done that before, though, with UFC specifically. I don't know if you were here on that podcast where I mentioned that, Lobo, but actually, no, you weren't, because this was... No, I don't know. Sorry, I don't remember. It's been a while. But it was our episode that took forever to come out, the third generation retrospective. I mentioned that the Lagiacrus was this center ring logo of a UFC fight to promote Monster Hunter Tri. And then there was there was a whole TV commercial run of Ironbeard. If you guys
oh Jesus Christ, that guy!
I love him.
Yes, I do remember that. Actually, I saw them on YouTube.
So this isn't actually I feel like this has been less of a push, at least I've seen. Now it may have been more of a push. I'm more integrated into the Monster Hunter community than I was during Tri. I was on the sub, I think, at that point, but I wasn't a moderator, and I wasn't, actively listening to everything news-wise. I was just playing with a few friends. Just a huge fan of the series at that point. I wasn't, delved into the community as I was, but I kind of feel like it was maybe almost as big as a push commercially here in the U.S.
Yeah, I could see that because Tri being on the Wii, like that was nearly 10 years ago, and I think TV was a lot bigger, or at least a lot bigger in the gaming audience back then. Online only people hadn't developed as much. I did see though for World, I just went to a random bar in town, sports bar, and on one of the ESPNs, they had a commercial for Monster Hunter, and I double checked at it. It was the strangest thing.
Yeah.
That was
the double take.
Yeah, that was bizarre to me.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, even before Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter started to catch on at least a little bit. I know this because it was a cool experience, but it was the weirdest one I've ever had. I mentioned a lot that I have a lot of Monster Hunter shirts, and I actually attempt, if I'm going out in public, to only wear Monster Hunter shirts because I have now increased my count to 10 Monster Hunter shirts.
Nice.
So I could go forever, just do laundry once a week and still have enough shirts to just wear Monster Hunter. But I had went to go watch a movie in a theater, and I was coming out of the theater, and I was with a group of friends. I think we just got done watching Kubo and the Two Strings or whatever, the paper mache Bard movie, and
yes.
This high schooler kid, he must have been a freshman or something. He just comes running up to me, right? And he grabs me. And this is so weird in a public place. I don't even know this kid. I've never seen him, right? I'm actually just out with my wife and our two friends. He just grabs me. He's like, "I love Monster Hunter," and he runs off. And I'm like, "What?
That's cool.
That's amazing." But what?
That's man, that'll be embarrassing for me.
It was just like, okay, it's gaining some popularity, and I was wearing my eye, and it's supposed to be heart, but it's a well done steak and then MH, so it's pretty. If you don't know what it is, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't, if you were into Monster Hunter stuff, you wouldn't know that a well done steak was, and you wouldn't know what MH was. You know what I mean? So
right.
He definitely knew what was going on. So I don't know. I thought it was cool.
I do have a side note really fast because
Sure.
you mentioned well done steak.
Mm-hmm.
Have any of you successfully cooked a steak?
Yes.
I have burned every single freaking steak because I'm so used to the old jingle.
Yeah, they changed the jingle.
They
I'm
changed
kind
the
of
jingle.
disappointed.
And it's
They
not.
changed
It's
the
not
timing.
the end of it either.
No, nope, it's not. Yeah, the jingle entirely changed. It used to go like the little dun 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 and then you had to wait 2 counts.
So tasty.
And then you would hit the you would stop cooking. So tasty. It is now before the song ends that you have to do that. It is so weird. And it's like, I have to do it visually now, or else I fail.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's after
That's
those.
why I have a.
It's after those 2 little beats at the end, like da da, and then you hit the button right there, and you've got a well done steak.
Yeah, I mean, I can do it now. It's just they changed it. I've been doing that for. Gosh, it was 13 years at that point. I've been doing that jingle. That was hard. That was hard to unwire.
New DLC. It'll add a vintage cooking stick to your inventory that just does the old style jingle with the old timer.
Dude, talk about nostalgia DLC. Did you guys see that you can turn the handler into the guild marm for $3?
What? Oh, that's what is that live now?
Yeah, yeah, you can pay $3 to put the handler in a guild marm outfit, the glasses and everything, hair, everything.
Damn it, that's happening like the second I'm done recording this now. I haven't actually gone to the PlayStation Store since I bought it, so I don't know what they put on there.
They've got free stuff there too. They've got a couple free hairstyles and gestures and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you have to manually download Prance.
Yes.
Oh, Prance is there? Okay, I thought it was dead.
They're not charging for Prance. They're not murderers. When I got the game on launch night digitally, I started it up and I was like, wait a minute. So I quit the application and went to the PlayStation Store and I just bought like all of the things, all of like packets of microtransactions except for the Guildmarm one, and then I like, okay, now I'm ready. Started the game up again.
I didn't buy anything. I just downloaded all the free stuff.
Okay,
yeah. It was actually one of my friends in the clan that was like, "Hey, did you know you could buy stuff here?" And he's not as experienced in Monster Hunter, so he had no idea why I was freaking out about a $3 guild marm. He's like, "I don't even know what a guild marm is." Okay, calm down. And I'm like, but they're charging $3 to just like hook on people's nostalgia for 2 games ago. Like, oh my gosh.
And it's working.
Really?
I think the price is pretty fair. Like the fabric animation on her is pretty good.
I have not used it, and I will not be using it because not that I don't like Guildmarm. I don't think I want to spend $3 to change the character. I think that Handler is enough of a character on her own that she doesn't need to be dressed like someone else.
Yeah, I agree.
See, $3 is half of a Subway sandwich. I am absolutely willing to give that up.
One thing that I really want to touch on before we talk about initial impressions and that kind of stuff is something that not a lot of people, even my own clan, knew until I explained it to them, is the investigations.
I love investigations.
Yeah, so a little bit of context. There are types of quests. There are the assigned quests, which is your story missions, which is how you progress. There are optional quests, which are basically the non-key quests. If you're a previous Monster Hunter fan, optional just means you can do them. They're not required, but they're good to do because they give you stuff. They upgrade your barbecue area. They upgrade different facilities in the thing, on top of doing deliveries. So investigations are basically randomly unlocked special challenge quests that happen when you acquire points. And they're kind of random, but they're equivalent to around the hunt you're doing at the time. So for instance, you are hunting a Baroth, you can look at his mud and you get an investigation to hunt Juritatis and Baroth. And they have special conditions. Sometimes it's only 2 hunters are allowed. Sometimes it's like all 4 hunters are allowed. It's this one monster. It's got great rewards, but you have to do it in 15 minutes.
I've had one where it's one cart. You're only allowed one cart. That's it.
Yep. Yes, that's true. And I've seen a couple that are one cart. But the cool thing about these things is they have extra rewards that could have, depending on the level of the rewards. So there's bronze, silver, gold, and that's random based on the quest you find. You can actually farm pretty well. The big drawback to that, though, is if you find a really good one, there's a limited amount of attempts. So if you post this quest, that takes away an attempt. You cannot post it once you've ran out of attempts. So you have to find a new investigation to fill that up.
I do have a positive on that, though. Generally, as you're doing that investigation, because, say, example, you're farming Toby, and there's not a repeatable quest for Toby. You can't just go back and do it again. At least,
you can do the assigned one over again.
Oh, you can? Okay. For some reason, it wasn't letting me at the time. Maybe it's because I hadn't talked to somebody. But example, you just want to beat up Toby over and over again. So you post your investigation for Toby. You do it. In the attempts of when you're fighting Toby to finish this investigation, you can earn more investigations for beating up Toby while you're doing an investigation for beating him up. So you can just keep chaining and getting more expeditions for the same thing.
True, but it is a random chance, and you can get it from other things in that area at appropriate.
Yeah, it's random, but it's like you get these things like they're passing them out like whatever it is that's cheap that people pass out often.
I get
like Halloween candy. It's a lot of them.
I get them for shattering parts a lot. Like 50% of the time, if a part breaks, I get an investigation to go with it.
Yeah, for breaking parts.
A lot of times on tail severs.
Yeah, for killing small monsters or even just picking up tracks, you get them.
Mm-hmm.
And I love them so far.
Yeah. They are my de facto way to farm. If I need to farm a monster, I am doing investigations. And a lot of time, what I've been doing is sort of pairing up my hunt for guild cards with investigations. So I have been doing investigations for plus level Juritatis, because I need some of his parts to make a better water longsword. So I will post the quest, immediately shoot the flare when I'm in the quest, and just start. And then hopefully people come in, and as soon as they pop in, I send the guild card with hopes they'll send it back. Doesn't happen most of the time, but hey, I'll get there eventually.
So investigations, I think, are the correct use for vouchers, like your daily bonus voucher. At least in the early game, because spending them on a multi-monster quest that's like 2 smaller monsters, like the one I had was Puke and Jagras, because I was farming them.
Yeah.
If you burn a voucher on that, like the base reward can be like up to like 14,000 Zenny, I forget. And then you can just double that to like 20, 30,000, and you just get this big payday at the end of the quest.
Oh, do it on ones that have like a higher payout. Okay.
Yeah, and it's usually multi-monster quests like boost the reward money. I think you have to do them in solo though, because otherwise they will divide the rewards.
Yeah. So, have you guys had Zenny issues in this game? Because I've noticed that it's been hard to keep Zenny.
Yes, but that's just because I make a lot of stuff. Like, unnecessary amounts of stuff.
I don't. I still have Zenny issues.
Yeah, I craft a lot of different sets and armor. And I was running a little bit low on money, but then I started using this, definitely not an exploit, and I think it's actually intended, honestly. But I could empty and refill my account in a couple of hunts. It was really, and a couple of several pieces of armor crafted. So it was pretty freeing compared to Generations, where you always felt money starved.
Yeah. So a couple of my friends have taken to golden fish fishing in the Rotten Vale. They will specifically take quests to go fish with golden fish, and they would like. So I was farming stuff, right? And they're like, "No, we're gonna go get some zenny. We're running low." So the two of them went off, and they would just be fishing entirely. The whole time I was hunting, and they're like, "Yeah, we just got what was it? Like 200,000 zenny or something." Like, yeah.
Whoa.
Like they're like, holy cow, dude! I was like, I'm guessing on the number, but it was insane, right? Because they're just fishing, and they're using the wet fish because they one of my friends loves the wet fish over the normal whetstone because it's one swipe or two swipes and it's done. It's a lot faster. He's like, okay, I get that. So like, it's kind of weird. Like gathering in this game is awesome.
Yeah.
In a very different way, because it's like I have never not picked up an herb that I can, even if I'm full, I'm still picking up herbs. Like, I'm crafting mega potions all the time. Like, I go in with potions. I don't drink potions. I never drink potions. I use megas, and I find honey, and it auto crafts mega potions.
Oh, since we were talking about first impressions, auto crafting is the greatest thing I've ever had in a Monster Hunter game. As a gunner, it is a godsend.
I imagine so.
Oh yeah. Some of those plants, here's 40 of this.
Yeah.
And you find like one thing, it's like, boop, here's like 7 pieces of ammo.
I will go into much more detail about that later. But yes, you can gun from MR1 now. You have no money worries anymore. You're fine. Because you pick up one latchberry and you get 40 pieces of pierce ammo or something ridiculous.
Yeah, I was going to say, in my group that I normally run with, so I'm a longsword main. I've got a friend of mine who has always been a greatsword guy. He totally switched up to dual blades. He is like our dual blade aficionado.
Mm.
He is part breaker extreme. He just goes nuts. My other friend, he's a greatsword user now. He used to be a longsword, but he saw I was using a longsword, and he was like, "Nah, I'm going to switch it up," and just changed to greatsword. But one of my friends, the guy who's the furthest, and he's been doing it on solo, is a heavy bow gunner. And he loves bombing things. Yes. So he'll put it to sleep and bomb it and that kind of thing, and he's crafting ammo all the time. He had a bit of a point in the mid-game area where he was like, I feel like it's too hard to buy ammo, and it's too expensive, and he didn't know about the crafting it as much. Because he hasn't, in reference for him, he only played in Try.
Oh.
He played a lot in Try, but he only ever played in Try, and he hated gunning in Try. I don't even remember what he said he used. I think it was just greatsword. And he went full-on bow gunner this time around, and that came from the Nergigante beta. He just fell in love with gunning in that beta.
So, oh, sorry. I want to put in a quick context for anybody who is a pure physical person, which I'm sure is a huge chunk of the Monster Hunter thing, instead of ranged.
Yeah.
In former games, in order to make a piece of ammo, you needed a shell casing. You had to buy casings, and you can only carry 60 of them per hunt ever. And then you had to have some part of a berry or something, like bomb nuts, or I can't remember what we used to make normal ammo, but then like thorn berries or something like that. Someone's gonna yell at me for this. But and then you combine those two and you would get 2 to 3 ammo per craft. So you ran out of bullets so fast, and you had to constantly buy casings because you cannot make your own casings. And so you just, being a gunner was expensive. Or you had to use your farm all the time to be anywhere close to be able to gun consistently. And status gunning is even worse because static ammunition is expensive and you need certain rare herbs and stuff like that. Now with Monster Hunter, because you can just grab everything on the fly, you can autocraft most anything. You can autocraft all the level 1 ammunition types with the exception of normal because you have unlimited, and you don't need casings anymore. If you pick, like I said earlier, if you pick up a latchberry, you get like 30 piercing 1 shells. And then I think it's, I don't remember the exact name of it. I think it's a fire nut, flame nut, or something like that. that'll auto-craft into gunpowder, and then you just upgrade your level 1 pierces into level 2 pierces by combining with gunpowder. And it's just, everything is so much cheaper, and finding stuff for status gunning is so much cheaper too. Like sleep herbs are all over the place, and I don't remember what's used to make paralysis stuff, but paralysis stuff is all over the place, and so you don't have to make yourself broke anymore to play a gunner. Which that was my first impression, was I can afford to do this now.
Yeah, that's my 'cause I hate being wasteful in games, so that was my trepidation in getting into gunner. Besides just the whole gunner armor debacle, was like, if I'm missing a shot, like, I spent time to get that bullet or that round, and like, if you're missing with like the more expensive ammo, I was just like, ugh, like, I can't. It hurts too much.
And things like in older games, until you hit like end of high rank, generally didn't mess around with stuff like sticky ammo or cluster ammo, because that stuff was very much expensive. But now I have a hunter rank 3 bowgun that can fire cluster 2 and sticky 2 ammo, which is insane. And I actually have cluster 2 and sticky 2 ammo to fire for once. So it's actually it's a really nice change. The Blade Masters don't really like the cluster 2s, but I do.
Oh yeah, my friend, he's like, hey, watch out, I'm gonna use the explodey shot, is what he calls it. I ignore him because I just helm breaker over it all. But
oh, you mentioned getting shot out of the sky by slash shot, because that's also one of the cheapest ammo types.
Right.
And it does a lot of damage for once. Like, I cut more tails than the people I group with.
And
it's like, just hit the tail no matter how tall it is. It's nice.
I haven't ran into that a lot myself, only because I don't think that my friend uses that, because we're all Blade Masters and he's the one gunner. So he's like, why would I do that? No, you guys are just going to cut off a tail. So
right. I've also gotten swatted out of the sky, more so in the beta when everything was essentially free. But out of that Helmbreaker attack for the longsword, the cluster shots have really knocked me out of that a bunch, too.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to be conservative with them, but
I just managed to get over them. Yeah, if I get hit by them, it'll knock you out. But I don't know. I've hunted enough with this other guy. Like, I think every time that I've hunted with other people, he's at least been involved like 99% of the time, that I know when he's going to use it and that kind of stuff. Like, we already have this rapport of when he's going to do things. So I don't really run into it too often. And sometimes he'll do it like when I'm up in the air or something like that. So, like, if you manage to land the hit before you get knocked away, you don't really have much of a problem. But yeah, you can get knocked out of it with cluster.
I do have a friend who's currently playing, Attack on Titan with Insect Glaive. Like, he's trying to play, the floor is lava with Insect Glaive, and he complains.
Yeah, my brother's doing that
because he gets nailed all the time with slicing shots, piercing shots, spread shots. Like, everything hits him for some reason. Bullets are attracted to the Insect Glaive.
Everybody hit the bird.
Oh, there's a new skill or something called like aerial or something, and it prevents like knockback in the air. I wonder if that would work on like tripping too.
It's jumping, I think, is the skill.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I know that Tobi Kadachi's armor has a lot of it.
Yeah, I think I got it on Legiana's or yeah, no, I think it was just Tobi Kadachi's.
Yeah, I had full Tobi Kadachi. It was the first low rank set I made.
By the way, thank you, Toby, for giving me a evade extender very early.
Yes.
Switch axe and heavy bowgun, thank you.
Right.
And longsword.
Really?
Although I ended up not being able to counter as much as I thought I would. Just because it's, a lot of it's learning. But I'm getting better at the counter.
Oh, yeah, I will point this out. Because we're talking first impressions. Beta Anjanath was a baby. You could push him over. He was super easy to fight. whatever. Monster Hunter Worlds, for real, Anjanath is terrifying, and I hate fighting him.
It is Jurassic Park 1 T-Rex. Holy cow. This thing is intense. So I was going to mention this, the turf wars, right?
Mm-hmm.
The turf wars, they seem to happen most of the time that the monsters see each other. I've not really seen a lot of situations where that doesn't happen if they have a turf war.
Right.
Anjanath has a turf war with both Great Jaggers and Tobi-Kadachi and Rathalos all in the Ancient Forest, so he can just turf war all day, except he'll lose with Rathalos. So we were in, that area that has the giant overhanging boulders that runs up into the upper nest area?
Yeah, like central ancient tree place.
Yeah, so like basically the floor of the ancient tree. The Anjanath was in that room, and then both Tobi-Kadachi and Jagras arrived at the same time in the room, and then it was like turf war. I was like, what? Because like you see them pop up on the research points. So this was a quest that all four of us were fighting, or no, it wasn't all four of us. It was three of us. We were helping out someone who wasn't as far as us, and Anjanath just beats the crap out of Great Jagras, and we're like, okay, yeah, pretty normal, and immediately gets in the turf war with Toby right after he finishes with Jagras. Just turns around and just smacks on Toby. I was like, oh, okay, Anjanath is a little ticked off today.
I've never actually seen him fight Toby.
It's cool. I mean, I'll give you a little bit of spoilers. Angie wins.
Everybody keeps calling Toby Lightning Squirrel.
Really?
I call him Lightning Ferret. I call him the ferret. He looks more like a ferret than a squirrel to me, the longer body. But,
I do admit his fluffy tail does that twitchy thing that squirrels do, so.
But, like, he a snake, though.
Yeah, that's why I thought he was a snake.
Yeah. No, his mouth is definitely snake-like.
I like him, though. He's fun to fight. But that's just because I was fighting Gunlance with an awesome shield.
This might be kind of spoilery, but I wanted to ask, speaking about snakes, have you guys looked at the world map in the Rotten Vale?
No.
Yeah, it's I think that was discovered.
I won't say it, but Lobo, next time you're in Rotten Vale, open up your map and look at the map itself.
Okay.
And keep the words "sneck" in mind.
Okay. So what you guys were saying about Anjanath, I actually did not have a hard time with him at all, playing longsword. Because he's weak to water. I wasn't using a water longsword or anything. But just with the Foresight Slash, the counter, it rewards, like, knowing a monster fight so much. Like, I think even more than Greatsword, maybe. And I'd played Anjanath so many times in the beta, I could counter, like, half his attacks, like, above other monsters by a large margin. And, yeah, I could just, like, see the big train flame burst coming, so I dodged to the side. I haven't, like, farmed him or anything, but I haven't had a hard time with him.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't, I actually failed my first attempt at him solo, but that was because I was still using bone armor by the time I got to him.
You can use bone armor for a while, though.
Yeah, but it's not optimal. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like I was taking heavy damage, and I didn't upgrade it at all. It was base level bone armor.
Oh, that's why. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was kind of tough for me that first time, but then I went ahead and farmed Tobi-Kadachi armor, and then I just did it, no problem.
One thing I did want to point out too, regarding upgrading your armor, because we mentioned investigations. If you're doing investigations, just burn all your armor spheres. Like, just use them willy-nilly. Don't bother saving them. Like, you can get more super easily. It's not like old games where you had to, kind of hope you got them.
Yeah.
This one,
yeah.
Every every bounty rewards an armor sphere. And you get armor sphere pluses pretty quickly, too.
Yeah, I ran out of bounties, actually.
Really?
I did them all. How do you get new ones?
You're talking about the limited bounties. The regular bounties like that never fill up. The small things, this many herbs, this many mushrooms. The limited bounties do ran out. They refill every week.
Oh.
Yeah, that's.
Oh no, I was talking about the other ones, like hunt 2 large monsters and you get an armor sphere. Ooh.
Yeah.
Are those supposed to refill weekly?
The limited bounties, yeah, you'll see them. You have 5 days left or 3 days left or whatever to finish them.
Right.
But the other ones, they're infinite. Like they will.
Yep.
Last, then you go back and you reassign 5 more, and you just keep it rolling. Like every quest, I go back because I'm completing those like crazy because you're always gathering, so you're gonna fulfill at least one of the gathering ones, and you'll probably fill one of the monster killing ones every quest anyway.
Huh. Because both the limited and the normal ones all completed and stopped going for me. I guess I'll have to find like the prompt to get new ones or something.
Are you okay? That's weird. Yeah, I don't know. I've never had the regular bounties just go away.
Yeah, whenever I go talk to the researchers again, it turns in all those bounties, and then you go to register bounties. I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll have you click on the empty space, and then it'll take you to the list with everything listed there.
Yeah, the research center is my first stop after every quest, almost.
Yeah, no, I'm going there a lot to check like the deliveries for the canteen and stuff. But I probably just learned something early on and forgot it when I was doing something else.
The
menu.
Yeah, there's a lot of complex systems still.
The menu parts of Monster Hunter are always the parts that I ignore. Like in past games, like Meowster Hunter is like, get out of here. I don't got time for that.
They're back.
I have a quick question.
Oh, what's the question?
Oh, so my first stop's Research Center. The second stop is to the book guy behind it. The head.
Mm-hmm.
Have you gotten any of them past the first tick? When you check the research levels, you know how it shows them all slowly filling up. And they'll fill up to the first tick and then kind of lock in there so they won't degrade back down past that. Have you got any of them to the second or third tick yet?
Now, tick as in research or tick as in scout flies?
The rightmost bar.
The rightmost bar, which is the scout fly level?
Yes.
I've never got them past one of them is like almost a 2.
Okay, because I haven't quite figured out how to keep upgrading that. I think you have to consistently hit the same monster over and over and over and over again until it clicks into the next level.
I think as long as you're gathering evidence for that monster constantly, you'll just get there.
Yeah, I've just been gathering the tracks a lot, and I haven't captured a ton, but I've captured when I can, and that's what the NPCs tell you to do. So maybe that has something to do with it.
Yeah. The research. I don't know what you want to call the left side, the nodes. The research nodes do affect the right side too. Okay. So the more research you have on a monster, the easier the scout flies have a time of finding monsters and doing that kind of stuff too. For instance, I have so far on Anjanath, I want to say, so you have 3 nodes for low rank, and then high rank you get another 3 nodes. I don't really think that's too much of a spoiler for people. I mean, it's just the research nodes. But I have all 6 nodes for Anjanath. And he's the one that's the closest because I have been helping people farm Anjanath, and I have been farming Anjanath because making his longsword is just something I wanted to do. I don't use it. I don't like negative affinity, but and it's got negative 20%. That's really high.
Yes.
1 in 5. I mean, it's a good weapon, but I'm not chancing the crits. So. The longsword takes a lot of Anjanath fangs, and fangs are not easy to get. I would say more so than nose bones in my case. which nose bones are like the more rare item. And then I've had so many Anjanath plates from doing investigations and helping people out that I sold plates to make some armor. I had 9 plates.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't need plates. I don't.
Yeah, that's the strange thing is, like, I got Legiana plate on my first hunt, I got Anjanath plate on my first hunt, I think I got a, whatever the thing is for Odogaron.
Yeah, it seems the plates are a little bit more readily available. They might have changed that.
I'm upset because I'm getting plates for Legiana, but I need the frost sacks. And
yeah.
I just need one, and they don't appear. They don't exist to me, apparently.
Yeah, I'm having the same...
Man. Investigations.
I'm having the exact same problem. It's the frost sacks, and then, like, you have to damage the tail in every hunt because so many of the weapons require tail webbing, I think it is.
Oh, yes. I like that at least you can see now. That's another thing, first impression thing. Being able to look at what drops what instead of going to the wiki
yeah.
is really cool.
Yeah.
Especially since the wiki has a bunch of, like, spoilers on it right now.
I have to be careful browsing YouTube. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, everywhere is pretty dangerous until you finish up. It's why I haven't really kept up with a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, we got a little bit of publicity, Monster Hunter wise. Not the Hunters Hub, but Monster Hunter in general. On some of the podcasts that I listened to, they had a whole like good section on Monster Hunter sales in a lot of the podcasts recently. So that was good.
I do know Jesse Cox and a couple of the other big YouTubers are actually giving it a try too, so that's making me happy seeing people with lots of subscribers.
Holy cow! I have not seen if Jesse Cox. I know that Pro Jared has been doing a Let's Play, but Jesse?
Yeah, well, he did it back in 3. I think Jesse was participating.
He did it in 4 Ultimate.
Yeah, and now he's doing Worlds again.
I have not seen this.
Him and Dodger both like Monster Hunter. Dodger more so.
Sorry for the typing. I'm just gonna check real fast.
Sorry, we're nerding out about other creators.
It's Jesse Cox and Saint Victa.
Saint Victa. Why do I know Saint Victa? It's an affiliation with those guys.
But yeah, 40,000 subscribers, and Jesse Cox's his channel has so many subscribers, and they're streaming and everything like that, and it's really cool seeing big names actually showing it off and potentially bringing more people on.
We talked about gathering, but I have been obsessed with the small creatures, the indigenous life, I think they call it.
Oh yeah.
Putting them in your house.
You mean Animal Crossing? Yes.
Oh man, dude. So the same friend that was talking to me about the DLC stuff. We were just it was just us one night because I've been staying up till 3 or 4 in the morning playing. I'm not kidding. I've been staying up late nights playing, and it's just me and him. And we went on a mission, an expedition specifically to get the rabbits from.
The white rabbits.
Yeah. It's from the Wildspire Waste, the desert bunnies, to put her in our house and then do some fishing to get some fish in our house. Oh my gosh, we were like freaking Animal Crossing / Pokemon masters. Like we were just like grabbing everything, and that I have never been so invested in decorating a house in any game.
Yeah.
Just because you can put the wildlife in your home.
So I have I have some even worse news for you.
Uh-oh.
There's shiny variants of most of the little animals you can catch. Mm-hmm.
No, there's not.
Yep. I got a prismatic Hercudrome the other day.
What?
Yeah.
I got the gold Herculodrome, but not the...
I also saw, those little wiggler things that are in coral?
Yeah, the Queen Wiggler. Yeah. She's like red.
I haven't been able to catch the red one, but there's a red one.
Oh, I had a saga with this one, Loborin. So, to the northwest of the base camp in the Coral Highlands. I like went out and like I saw the red one, and I like shot the I was creeping up and I shot the capture net.
The net.
And it just landed like a couple feet too short, and it popped back underground, and it went away forever. I was like, I will find you. So on a random online hunt, I was just like going to after Paloma or something, but I see it there, and I was like, oh shit. So I like crouch, and I'm like very deliberately loading the thing, and I'm just creeping just a bit closer because you have to get like close enough that they would flee, but to be in range to fire the capture net. But I fired it and I got it, and I was just like fist bumping myself, like yes, I was so happy. And yeah, just it's really cool how they like having small creatures to begin with is really awesome. But like I think they're a perfect implementation of rare spawns in a game like Monster Hunter because they will incentivize you to look out for them and to like pursue them, but not to the point where like you're needing them to craft like armor or something. Like you need to get like wiggler plates.
Oh yes. Have you this is a fun one. After at a certain point in the story, you get access to a place the cat was blocking you off earlier. Have you guys moved to that new place?
The second house, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you guys had or not.
I actually got to move into the third house, the super elite one.
Yeah, there's a third house.
I know there's a third house, but in the second house, I'm just happy that you can release more pets, and there's spots where you can just sit and watch the pets and interact with them.
Oh yeah, that's great.
There's 3 pages of placeable pets in the third house.
Wow. Have you sat and interacted with your pets yet?
No, I haven't. I didn't even know you could.
Yeah, just go sit on your bed.
Stop making me stay in this game longer, Lobo. Gosh.
Yeah, just go sit on your bed.
I just saw this, guys, and this is like a live reaction for me. I didn't know. Did you know we went up to 141,000 subscribers today?
No.
What? I had not checked.
What the actual pleasieth here?
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh. I knew we were like, aha, it's funny, we hit 111, right? Like right when the game came out, we are like, aha, we gained 30,000 since Friday.
Holy cow.
What? Okay, yeah.
Hey, you question. You have the special edition version of it, right?
The collector's edition, yes, I do.
Have you used your Ninja Star ability yet?
No, I have not.
It's like an advanced shadow boxing. It can actually hit things at range.
Oh, I didn't know that. The only thing, so funny story. I thought I threw out my pre-order bonus, so I didn't actually upload my pre-order bonus until yesterday, because that was separate. It was on the receipt.
Really?
Yeah. So like the pre-order bonus, which has the hunter gear and the fair winds charm. That I didn't actually upload.
Oh man,
yesterday.
that's a bummer.
I didn't use any. So I was going through. Most people are like, "Why are you having such a hard time?" Because you had the hunter's gear. Why don't you just use that? Because it's actually fairly decent for early game. The hunter's gear. And I was like, "Nope, I got bone. I made bone."
I love the charm because having divine intervention is pretty nice early on.
Yeah, I didn't have the charm. I was already high rank by the time that I found my pre-order code. But I do have like the collector's edition stuff, like the samurai skin, which I think was cool for a little bit, but I kind of just like seeing the way armor looks. So
yeah, I haven't equipped.
Even if it's goofy.
I haven't equipped the samurai stuff, even though I got all the digital content, but except for the Guild Marm costume.
Yeah. By the way, the Nergigante figure is a little bit bigger than I expected. It's about 4 inches tall or so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not huge, but it's decently sized, and it is sharp. So those spikes all over it are still hard. They're plastic, but they're still hard. So I gave it to my daughter or my 3-year-old, and she was like, "Ow, it's spiky. Don't touch it; it hurts. Ouch! It's sharp."
So that's also educational, Fortuan. It's Capcom's way of teaching children how to play the Gigante fight.
Yeah, like I was saying in chat with another with actually Quentin, our one of the mods. I was like, "Yep, hunters in training." He was like, "A little young, 1 and 3. Hunters in training, still training them."
Hunters and training wheels.
What is your guys' favorite monster so far that you've seen?
Loborin, do you have
intro?
Oh, favorite. Well, I still like Lightning Squirrel, even though I haven't fought him that much.
Mm-hmm.
I like Lagiana. It is a satisfyingly fun and difficult fight. It doesn't feel cheap. It feels really rewarding when you dodge the ice paths and his obvious roars, and like he's the most fun I've had fighting a monster in a while. And just because the fact that it is challenging, but I can still do it.
Yeah, he's challenging, but he telegraphs way better than a lot of monsters. And I don't know why. That's typically something reserved for an easier monster, like such huge telegraphs, but
because sometimes you do get a hit. It's hard.
Yeah, it's true too.
Yeah, that was classic Monster Hunter for me. Was the where it does the flip around like butterfly thing, and it flaps its wings at you and shoots the ice the permafrost wave at you. And that's I thought it was. I don't know. I liked that they had the big windups on them because it was such a quick monster, but it also felt like you know what you're doing with it. So yeah, I've hunted Legiana like 20 times. I think it's also my favorite monster so far.
Yeah. Cool. Well, my favorite is still Diablos. That intro, when you actually fight Diablos the first time, that is a great intro for Diablos.
Did you fight him the first time you go to the wastes?
No. You fight him towards the end of low rank.
Okay, I was wondering. I was like, did I somehow just avoid?
Yeah, you're not there yet. You haven't seen this intro yet.
Okay.
Not really a spoiler that Diablos is in the game or that he has intro. So, but yeah, his intro is good. Like even my wife, I made her watch a lot of the intros. She was like, "No, that was cool." Very intimidating. Still my favorite monster, but I will say honorable mention to a new entrant is Odogarin. I like him a lot. He feels fast, but they made his aesthetics very well to say, "Hey, I'm a fast monster," but he's manageable, right? Because his attacks, they're fast, but they're attacks. You know what I mean? He's not dogging you down like there's some sort of unbeatable, like, fast thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
He feels fast within the mechanics of the game, and I think that's really cool how they pulled that off. It feels very believable that he's a fast dog. And that bleed effect, that is back in full force. Because holy cow. But yeah, I think
I love just like the moments when you enter each area. They're so cool, and I can't wait for everyone to see like the final area.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yep. Alrighty, guys. Well, I guess the consensus is it's fun. I don't think we ever really said anything too much negative aside from the online stuff. It's a good game. Pick it up if you haven't. If you're just listening to see, probably not, considering it sold 5 million already in 3 days. That's old news by this point. Old news by the time us talking about it, let alone when it comes out. So. Yeah. So, alrighty. Awesome game. Good job, Capcom. Good job, Monster Hunter team. We love it. So we'll end it there. So thank you, hunters, for joining us, and we'll see you next quest.
See you later.
Thank you, hunters, for listening today. You can catch us on SoundCloud or any past episodes on Google Drive download or YouTube.